Good morning, everybody. We're live here from the Bird House. We are in the month of August now, so we are getting into the very beginnings of fall migration here in the upstate Western New York area. And as always, we'd love to know what kind of things you are seeing in your yards or as you're out. You can throw those in the comments. If you have any questions, you can put those in there too. Or if you just want to say hi, we love to know who's on, so you can say hello in the comments as well. And if you guys are seeing more hummingbird activity or oriole activity, we're curious about that too. We're getting some reports of more hummingbird activity actually. So orioles seem to be hit or miss with people. Some people have a whole bunch. Some people haven't seen them in about a month or so. So if you haven't seen any orioles in about a month, even though they will be here through the month, it could be that they're just not coming back to your feeders this time of the year. So you could take those down and focus more on things like hummingbird feeders because it seems like the hummingbird activity is starting to increase, which is really good, which isn't surprising because they do need to fuel up for that migration down south. So we'll give you an update today on some of the things that people are seeing here. First announcement is that we will have more dates announced later on today for the Sand Patch bird watching cruises. They've been super popular. We've done 2 already, and we have a third that is also sold out, and we'll be having 2 more dates in September. So we'll announce those later on today, and we'll share a link for you as well to buy tickets. They sold out really quickly the last time, so keep an eye out for that. Probably early afternoon, we'll have those dates ready and that link available. So keep an eye out on your Facebook or Instagram. We'll announce those on there first. And if you're interested, it's a lot of fun. So we'll have 2 more of those this year. We also have today at the store a plant sale. We have Michael Hayden here for most of the day. He'll be here till 3 or 4 o'clock selling some different rare and unusual perennials. And he's got some pretty cool stuff. He's got, if you're looking for hummingbird plants or butterfly plants, he has a lot. He had a bunch of cardinal flower out there this morning. So some different things that you can use to attract some pollinators as well if you're interested in that. As far as some birding news around town right now is summer raptor migration over at Braddock Bay. So if you're looking for some places to go birding, Braddock Bay is a great place out there at the Hawk Watch. They are especially busy with counting red-tailed hawks. So August is another, not as big as the migration that comes through in the spring, but there is some raptor migration that comes through this month as well. So if you're looking for a place to go, Braddock Bay out there, there should be some hawk watchers out there every day counting the migration that comes through. So something that you can do. I'm throwing this picture back in here again too because I've been getting a lot of these underneath my feeders. You might get sunflowers popping up here and there in your garden if you are feeding birds, but then I've been getting a lot of this plant as well, which is safflower. So it just started to bloom. Actually, this isn't a picture from my backyard, but this is. And it's starting to pop up under my feeders from all the safflower seed that I've been feeding over the past few months. So if you see something like this with kind of waxy, spiky leaves, could very well be safflower is growing underneath your feeders or in different places in the yard. I know if you've got chipmunks, they tend to bury it. I don't know if they actually eat it. Squirrels don't really like the safflower seed. I don't know if chipmunks actually eat it, but they'll definitely shove their cheeks full of it and plant it throughout your garden. So if you're seeing this popping up, it's still a very pretty plant, and this is what it looks like when it's in bloom. It's sometimes orange, sometimes more yellow. So it seems to start off as yellow and then kind of fade to orange. So that's what safflower looks like. And there's lots of young birds out there. I've been having some young cardinals in the yard, and they have that gray bill is how you can tell that they're younger. And then usually their feathers are kind of disheveled. They might not have that full crest on the top of their head, but lots of baby birds are still out there coming to feeders, sometimes with their parents. The parents will bring them to the feeders and feed them some food. So lots of that happening out there as well. And like I said at the very beginning, people are reporting more hummingbirds in the past a week or 2 than they have been all summer. So, and that will probably continue. So if you have a lot of hummingbird plants, they might be coming to those. But as the season goes on and as we get closer to when they're going to be going down, all the way down to Central America and Mexico, you might start seeing them coming back to your feeders again to kind of refuel and get ready for that big migration. So don't be surprised if you start seeing more hummingbirds. The babies are out and they are getting ready for their fall migration. But that being said, they'll be here all month long. And then if you're out by the water, there's different water birds to look for, especially as water levels kind of go down and these birds venture out into the mudflats to look for food. Great blue heron is probably the most common one you'll see. But then there's also the green heron, which is significantly smaller. But keep an eye out also for great egret, especially as we're getting into the fall. Quite a few of them pass through here during their fall migration. So if you see something that's heron size but bright white like this, that is your great egret. And in the same family, I thought I'd throw in the other birds that you can see that are in that heron family. One being the black-crowned night heron, and like its name suggests, this is one you tend to see at dusk or during the nighttime hours. If you can kind of see a silhouette of some kind of a heron-like bird, it's probably going to be this one, the black-crowned night heron, which we also have around here. And then not as common, but there is the American bittern, which blends in super well with cattails and tall grasses and things. It's got those stripes and it has really, really good camouflage, but they are around. And then there's also what's called a least bittern. So some different water birds you can see out there this time of the year still. And as we get more into the fall and later on in this month, we will start seeing more ducks with migration. So we're not in the big waterfowl migration yet, but that is on its way. And a couple things to be out on the lookout for. Of course, mallard ducks. We have them here all year round. And the male and female look like this. The male has the green head and the female doesn't. But there's also what's called a black duck. And the black duck can look similar to the female mallard, but if you look at its wings in flight, it doesn't have any of those white stripes on them like the mallards do. Both the male and female mallard will have these white stripes on their wings when they are in flight. And the black duck also is darker in color overall. So if you see something that looks like a dark female mallard, could very well be an American black duck. And as we go on in the month, more blue-winged teal, which is this bird here, will filter in, as well as things like northern pintail. So there will be some different bird activity flowing into the area. And then there's lots of bugs out there. If you're spending any time outside, you're probably seeing lots of things buzzing around. Monarch butterflies are definitely back. Those caterpillars are around on milkweed plants. They're laying lots of eggs, and those eggs will hatch into the monarch caterpillar, and that caterpillar just eats and eats and eats those milkweed plants, and then will form chrysalis, and out of that chrysalis will hatch the monarch butterfly, just to do that whole process over again. And as we get into September or so, those butterflies that are coming out will be the migratory monarch butterflies that will fly all the way down to Mexico, which is pretty cool. And this is what their eggs look like on the underside of the milkweed leaves. You can find those if you search. And this is just a picture of one that was in my yard the other day, a monarch butterfly there on my swamp milkweed plants. And then there's also the mimic of the monarch called the Viceroy, which is smaller in size. It's basically the same colors, but it has this stripe that goes through its hind wing, which the monarch butterfly doesn't have. So if you see something that looks like a small monarch butterfly, could very well be this Viceroy. But what people are really reporting are lots of cicadas, and you might see this kind of alien looking thing on your plants in your yard or garden. And this is the cicada exoskeleton of the nymphs. When they're crawling out of the ground, they'll crawl up, say, the bark of a tree, they'll crawl up stems of plants, and out of this exoskeleton will hatch the cicada. And when they first come out, they're bright green. And to wrap it up here, we had a series of photos sent in by Randy, who happened upon a cicada molting. So it looks like this was a cicada that the nymph was on a stick, and you can start to see that green coming out of the nymph there, the exoskeleton is starting to crack open, and you can see the cicada starts to slowly emerge. And when they come out, they're this bright, bright green before their body kind of hardens and their wings harden. So you can see right here, the wings are really, really small. So just like butterflies, when they hatch out, they have to pump their blood through their body in order to kind of spread their wings out. And the cicadas are no different. And then this is the last photo here. So you can see that its wings are all out, but it does take a couple hours sometimes for them to actually harden and to get darker in color. So really cool thing that he happened upon. And thank you for sending in those photos. So that is our update for today. Like I said, we do have a plant sale going on all day today, for the most part, at least until 4 o'clock here at the store with Michael Hannon. So that will be going on here today. And then we'll also be announcing those new fall dates for September for our Sand Patch birding cruises. So be on the lookout for those. We will announce those early afternoon and have a payment link available if you are interested in buying tickets. So that's everything for today, and we will be back on Tuesday with another broadcast. Until then, have a great weekend, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.